Well, if you've been watching the news at all lately, you're hearing the term super PAC being thrown around, and now President Obama is virtually being called a hypocrite for once criticizing super PACs and now giving the one that supports him the thumbs up. Political analyst John Dadian is here to break this all down for us. John, thanks so much for coming in.
Good morning.
Let's just talk about super PACs. Like I said, this is a term you're hearing right and left. What exactly is the definition of a super PAC? And this came about in 2010, I understand?
PACs have been around for a long time, ever since the reforms of 1974 after the Watergate era. But the reason they're calling these super PACs, and it's relatively new, is because there was a court decision that basically said that corporations could give unlimited money. And you are seeing, talk about unlimited, you are seeing people make $5 and $10 million contributions at one shot.
Yeah, and that's why the president is being criticized, because he had a big issue with this when it got the okay. And now he's realizing how much money is being thrown into these super PACs, and I guess his thought is that if he doesn't give the thumbs up to one, he has a chance of losing the election because he doesn't have enough money. That's
actually exactly the two arguments. On one hand, they say now we have to do it to be competitive, but on the other hand, the real problem was he not only came out against him, he came out against him real strong, and he made statements, I'm paraphrasing, to the effect of, you've got to walk the walk, you can't just make speeches during election time, you've got to do it throughout the year, and now all of a sudden he's switching. So this has given a lot of fodder to the Republicans.
So what does he stand to lose and who stands to gain?
He stands to lose a lot of credibility, and he stands to lose that he gives the Republicans ammunition from everything from their TV ads to in debates. I mean, what's he going to do when he's with the Republican nominee in the debate and they read verbatim his statement of 2007? That's what the concern is. The ones who are really going to gain, inside what we call the Beltway in Washington, D.C., they are popping champagne corks, okay? The pollsters are going to make a ton of those. Quite honestly, the TV stations are going to be very happy because there's going to be much more advertising. Keep in mind what one of the main criteria of a super PAC is. They cannot coordinate with the candidate campaign. But here's what really happens, which is the main criticism. The president in this example said publicly, it's okay now to raise the money, because they don't want to irritate him if they're supporting him. So once he says that, that's the wink and the nod, and the money has started to flow this week.
So from what I understand, they can't have direct communication, but they can communicate through the media.
Correct. The two main criteria is they cannot communicate, and more importantly, the word is they cannot coordinate. For example, they can't see the candidate campaign buying a lot on this TV station and then say, well, we'll be on that one. It's got to be completely independent.
Got it. Okay, let's switch gears here. Let's talk about Santorum winning Colorado, Missouri, and Minnesota. Was this a huge shock for many, or what does this now mean for the Republican campaign?
Wasn't a huge shock for me.
Wasn't?
Okay. It wasn't, because Santorum, again, I got to sound like a corny cliche, but I really am going to use the tortoise and the hare. He had a strategy, he, kept calm, etc., and he knew Romney was going to front load, and because he had such a great organization in the early ones. So the biggest one was Colorado, because that is going to be, that can go either way in the general election. So the fact Santorum won that, I think is huge. The best line I ever heard, sounds kind of a glib, but the best line I ever heard is that the Romney bandwagon of the last Tuesday ran into a ditch.
Oh, okay. So what do you see happening as the primaries and caucuses continue into the next 2 weeks or so? Do you see Santorum continue to be gaining momentum?
Actually, what's going to happen in this month, we do have a couple on Saturday, but then there's a 3-week lull, and there's really no primaries or anything for 3 weeks in February, so they're all going to be reorganizing and gaining. What the Santorum ran this week really kind of cemented a very good chance for him to be vice president, but he's still alive. The one that it hurts almost as much as Romney is Gingrich, because this has shown that Santorum can overshadow him.
Political analyst John Dadian, we certainly always appreciate your expertise and your time to come in here. Thank you so much.